Te Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our daily morning reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you all for joining. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and please accept my humble obeisances. I seek permission and blessings from Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, and entire Guru Parampara, so that I can glorify Srimad Bhagavatam sincerely. I ask for forgiveness from all of you if I make any offenses in the course of this class. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. And let us all together pray to Srimad Bhagavatam that, O Srimad Bhagavatam, I pray to Srimad Bhagavatam that I am very small to understand Krishna. But by, O Krishna, by your mercy, please enter my ear holes. Please let your Leela enter my ear holes and help me understand you. So we'll continue our reading. We are reading from Canto 10, the Samambonam, Chapter 10, the Deliverance of Yamala-arjuna trees. And today we are reading verse 28 onwards. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktirbhavati naishtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reciting verse 10, 10, 28. Tatra Shriya Paramaya Kukubasfurantau Siddha Upetya Kujayoriva Jataveda Krishnam Pranamya Shirasakhilalokanātham Baddhanjali Virajasa Vidamuchatusma. Let's look at word to word. Tatra, there, on the very spot where the two Arjunas fell. Shriya, with beautification. Paramaya, super excellent. Kukubha, all directions. Sfurantav, illuminating by effulgence. Siddhau, two perfect persons. Upetya, then coming out. Pujayoho, from between the two trees. Eva, like. Jata Vedaha, fire personified. Krishnam, unto Lord Krishna. Pranamya, offering obeisances. Shirasa, with the head. Akhila Lok Natham, to the Supreme Person, the controller of everything. Baddha Anjali, with folded hands. Virajasau, fully cleansed of the mode of ignorance. Idam, the following words. Uchutaha Sma, uttered. Translation by Krishna Kripamurti, His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereafter, in that very place where the two Arjun trees had fallen, two great perfect personalities, who appeared like fire personified, came out of the two trees. The effulgence of their beauty, illuminating all directions, with bowed heads, they offered obeisances to Krishna, and with hands folded, they spoke the following words. There is no purport by Srila Prabhupada, but as the verse says, from the following verse, the prayers of Nalkuvar and Manigriva are starting. So let's hear those beautiful prayers starting from verse 29. कृष्ण कृष्ण महायोगीस्त्वमाद्य पुरुषः परः व्यक्ताव्यक्तमिदं विश्वं रूपं ते ब्राह्मणा विदुः. Word to word. Krishna, Krishna, O Lord Krishna, O Lord Krishna. Mahayogin, O Master of Mysticism. Tvam, you, the exalted personality. Adyaha, the root cause of everything. Purushaha, the supreme person. Paraha, beyond this material creation. Vyakta, Vyaktam, this material cosmic manifestation, consisting of cause and effect or gross and subtle forms. Idam, this, Vishwam, the whole world, Rupam, form, Te, your, Brahmanaha, learned Brahmanas, Viduhu, no. Translation by Krishna Krupamurti, His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Lord Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. You are the supreme original person, the cause of all causes, immediate and remote, and you are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmanas know, on the basis of Vedic statement, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, that you are everything and that this cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspects is your form. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read the purport, please?
Yes, please, Masati.
Purport of Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The two demigods, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, because of their continuing memory, could understand the supremacy of Krishna by the grace of Narada. Now they admitted that we should be delivered by the blessing of Narada Muni was all your plan. Therefore, you are the supreme mystic. Everything, past, present, and future, is known to you. Your plan was made so nicely that although we stayed here as twin Arjuna trees, you have appeared as a small boy to deliver us. This was all your inconceivable arrangement. Because you are the supreme person, you can do everything. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
So
That's
Nalkor and
beautiful.
Manigriv, as we were discussing on Wednesday, they had been stuck in the body of trees for 100 demigod years, which means 18,000 human years. And generally, souls, when they transmigrate from one body to another body, they lose the memory of their past lives, right? But because of mercy of Narad Muni, Nalkor and Manigriv had continuing memory. So they have been waiting for 18,000 years in one place only, suffering the consequences of their Jala Krida, their water play with the Apsaras. And now, finally, after witnessing Krishna's Bal Krida, they can come out of their tree body. So, Krishna's childhood pastimes, if we reflect on them, we explore how how the Lord can liberate even the most fallen souls through his Balakrita. So many demons he has liberated, so many souls he has liberated just by doing his Krida, his play as a child, his playful and his mystic activities in Vrindavan. And the example of Nalkur and Manigriv is just one of them. The two demigods, who were intoxicated by wealth and pride, And because of their offensive behavior towards sage Narad Muni, they were cursed to become trees. However, that curse turned into the greatest blessing they ever received as they remained in Vrindavan, and they got to see Krishna's dealings with his parents and his elder brother Balramji. And so many pastimes happened right there in the courtyard of Nand Bhavan. And eventually today, they received Krishna's glance upon them. And finally, they received deliverance from the tree bodies. And as soon as they came out of the tree bodies, they start showing their gratitude now. They start offering prayers to Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Mahayogins. Oh Krishna, you are the greatest mystic. So Krishna in his Damodar Leela, he exhibits how, even as a small child who is apparently bound by ropes, he is still the Supreme Lord, capable of doing anything, capable of delivering souls, even while he himself is bound. And as he crawls between the two Arjuna trees, they get uprooted effortlessly. And we see here, when if we need to remove a tree, we need to hire people, and 3 4 of them, they come with their machinery, and with help of all of that, all those people and all the machinery, then they can remove one tree. But here, this little child, on his own, and he's even bound by ropes himself, he is uprooting two giant trees, which are 18,000 years old trees, and is doing it all by himself. And this shows that he's not an ordinary child. It shows that he has unlimited mystic powers. The ukhal, the mortar that tied to his belly by Mother Yashoda's love, that ukhal, he makes that ukhal an instrument of liberation for the trees. So this uprooting of Nalkur and uprooting of these two Yamala-arjuna trees, it highlights how Krishna's leelas are sweet and yet filled with transcendental purpose. He has a purpose behind everything he's doing, why he has come, and why he is performing all these pastimes. So Nalkur and Manigriv, first of all, as soon as they come out of tree body, the first thing they tell Krishna, they say to Krishna is Krishna, Krishna, Mahayogins. They address him as a Mahayogi, the supreme master, the Ishvara of all the mystic powers. Because Krishna possesses all yogic powers naturally and in full, and that also without any effort. Unlike ordinary yogis who do their intense practice of Ashtanga yoga for years, for decades, and for sometimes for lifetimes. And then finally, they attain some mystic perfections or siddhis. We've heard about the yogi whom Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj met on the bank of river Ganga, who had the siddhi of walking on water. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj asked him, how long did it take you to attain this siddhi? And he said 35 years. But Krishna has all these perfections, all mystic perfections. He has them, and he has them inherently, because he's the source of all these mysticism and all the yoga and all the mystic powers. He is Yogeshwara. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, in the very last verse of Bhagavad Gita, Sanjay says to Krishna in 1878, यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवानितिर्मतिर्मम. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever there is Krishna, who is the master of all mystics, who is Yoga Ishvara, who is the Lord of all the mystics. And also, wherever there is his devotee like Arjun, who is also supreme archer, it is Dhruva, it is certain that there will be Shri, opulence, Shri Vijaya, victory, and Bhutihi. There will be exceptional power there. So this term Yogeshwara, that means Lord of Ishvara of Yoga, and it indicates that Krishna is not an ordinary practitioner of yoga, but he is the origin and controller of all the yogas. And all mystic perfections, we saw in second canto, Anima, Mahima, Laghima, like becoming smaller than the smallest, lighter than the lightest, traveling instantly, all these, they are all under his command. In Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada writes that when Krishna was only a few months old, at that time Putana, demon Putana came to kill him, and yet he sucked her life out through her breast. And as a boy, as a little boy, he lifted Govardhan hill, and he danced on the hoods of Kaliya serpent. And he showed the entire universe to his mother inside his mouth. And these are not any ordinary feats. These are all um, examples of his mystic powers, beyond anybody's comprehension. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that he is the topmost object of yoga. In Bhagavad Gita 6.47, he says, Yoginam api sarvesham adgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. That yoginam api sarvesham, out of the purpose. So the purpose of yoga is yoga means to connect. The purpose of yoga is to connect, to become yukta, to connect with the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Krishna says, out of yoginam api sarvesham, out of all the yogis, the one who with great faith always abides in me, always thinks of me within himself, and always renders loving devotional service to me. He is Yukta Tama, the most intimately connected with me in yoga, and he is the highest yogi of all. So Bhakti Yogi, Krishna says, is the highest yogi. All other yogic paths, Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, they all are meant to culminate into Bhakti Yoga, which means loving devotional service to him. And also, as we were saying in our Canto 2, Chapter 2, before the start of Kartik month, some yogis, they meditate on the Super Soul Paramatma, some meditate on the impersonal Brahman, or some they meditate on universal form, Virat Roop of the Lord. So all this all depends on their level of advancement and motivation from within. And they choose different objects for their meditation, either Virat Roop or impersonal Brahman or Paramatma within the heart. But Krishna has made it very clear in Bhagavad Gita 14:27 that Brahmano hi pratisthaham. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. So even those who are meditating on impersonal Brahman or Paramatma, without knowing, they are also meditating on Krishna in a partial feature. We know from Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 11 that Vadanti Tatvatvida Sattvatvam Yajnanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. That the absolute truth is realized in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So the yogis who stop at the Brahman or Paramatma realization stage, they are not fully realized. But these all Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, they are all different aspects of the same truth, Krishna, Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is the complete realization of absolute truth. In other words, realizing who is Bhagavan, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and developing loving surrender to him. That is the goal of all the yogis, even though they might not know it yet. And Nalkor and Manigriv have realized that. They are echoing the same fact that Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita, Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. The Nalkor and Manigriv, they are saying, Krishna Krishna Mahayogins, Tom Adya Purusha Paraha. You are Adi Purush. Krishna, O Krishna, you are Mahayogi and you are the Adi Purush, the original personality, the primeval Lord from whom everything comes. And this shows Nalkur and Manigriva's realization, which has come after witnessing Krishna's inconceivable power. That even though he is bound like a child, but he effortlessly liberated them. So now they have understood that Krishna is not limited by his form or his activities. Yes, he is in the form of a little boy right now who is running and crying in the fear of the stick in his mother's hand. But he is not limited by that form of a little boy. He is still the same Supreme Personality who is, as they say, Vyakta, Avyakta, Idam Vishwam. He is the one who is either in manifested or unmanifested form. He is the one who is all pervading, spreading through the entire creation as his own expansion. Srila Prabhupada in the translation writes that learned Brahmanas know on the basis of the Vedic statement, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, that you are everything and that this cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspects is your form. So Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahman, when we literally translate this, it means that everything is Brahma. And this statement, everything is Brahman, does not mean that everything is God, like, a table or a chair is God. But rather it points to the truth that everything exists in relationship to God. Everything exists in relationship to the Supreme Absolute Truth Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Krishna says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. This entire universe is pervaded by me. I spread throughout this entire universe in my avyakta murti. Jagat is my avyakta murti. I pervade, I spread through the entire universe in my unmanifested form. So, and Prabhupada often used this analogy that fire is the source and heat and light are energies of fire. Similarly, Krishna is the source and this material and all the material and all the spiritual worlds, including all the living beings and all the things within them, they are all expansions or they are all his energies only. So when it is said Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, everything is Brahman, it means that all that exists is either Krishna himself in his personal form or it is his energy, which remains not different from him because of being fully under control of him. So everything is Brahman in that sense. Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, as we said, literal meaning it means everything is Supreme Brahman Krishna. But in more specific, more clear understanding, it means that everything that exists is either Krishna's energy or either it's Krishna's expansion, and the entire universe is Jagat Avyakta Murtina, is his form in either subtle or gross way, and he is present everywhere. But at the same time, he remains the person Krishna, the Supreme Person Krishna, who has emotions, who has desires, who can play and love and liberate and do as he likes. And that's what Nalkor and Manigriv have realized now. What they are seeing in front of them is Krishna, the playful child of Vrindavan. But they also realize that he is the Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. He is the all-pervading Brahman who spreads through and who controls everything. And yet, he remains the loving, approachable child to his devotees because he wants to. And whatever he does is not random, but it is a deliberate act of his grace, his mercy, his causeless mercy. Krishna acts out of his compassion, and he has a plan. Anything he does is not, while doing his lila, whatever he is doing is not accident. And in the same way, their deliverance from the body of trees, that was also not just an accident. It is an example of his grace, his mercy. And the other beauty here is that Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma is something, as Prabhupada has highlighted in the translation, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma is the fact that learned Brahmanas come to know after the vigorous study of Vedas. But the same thing, Nalkur and Manigriv now know how? By, just by witnessing the Leela of Krishna. So this is the beauty. This is the power of his Leela. Just by seeing it or just by hearing it, it can award the ultimate realization. And this is the power of bhakti over scholarship. So Nalkur and Manigriv, they were not, some learned brahmanas or the sages who were sincerely studying Vedas. In fact, we have seen in the previous verses, they were in fact intoxicated, arrogant, lusty, cursed to become trees, a most ignorant and tamasic form. And they were completely disconnected from any kind of spiritual pursuit. This is not what they were looking for when they were playing in water with the apsaras. They were not even aiming for this ultimate realization that Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. But then what happened? How come suddenly they are talking like learned brahmanas? What happened is that they witnessed Krishna's Leela. The Damodar pastime of the Lord, they witnessed him dragging the water, and they witnessed him, they're standing as trees, and the little boy who is bound by water, he is coming towards them, pulling the water, and he is powerfully uprooting them. And from that one divine moment only, they realized the very truth that Brahmanas, they study endlessly to know this truth. And why does this happen? Because Krishna's Leela is divinely potent. Krishna's pastimes, his Nama, Rup, his Guna, his Leela. Leela means pastimes. They are all non-different from him. So just by seeing or hearing about his Leela, it transmits spiritual realizations. And this is another proof of Divya Gnan Hriday Prakashito, that this is the beauty and supremacy of Krishna's Leela. It gives the direct experience of absolute truth, which is beyond intellect. So Leela can pierce through, hardest of the hearts and melt them in love for Krishna. And, after we finish this chapter, we don't have many verses left in this chapter. After we finish this chapter, and when we go back to Canto 2, then we will feel how smooth, how moist with love Leela is, and how dry knowledge fails. We will go back to the Virat Rup meditation of the yogis, and the details and the knowledge and the description of all the universes, and we will see the difference. Let's go to verse 30 and 31. Vinod Prabhu, if you can display the words 30 and 31 on the screen, I'll start reciting from the book. Tvamekah sarvabhutanam dehasva mendriyeshwarah त्वमेव कालो भगवान् विष्णुरव्यय ईश्वरः त्वं महान् प्रकृति सूक्ष्मा रजसत्त्वतमोमयि त्वमेव पुरुषोऽध्यक्षः सर्वक्षेत्र विकारवि. Word to word. Tvam, your lordship. Ekah, one. Sarva Bhutanam, of all living entities. Deha, of the body. Asu, of the life force. Atma, of the soul. Indriya, of the senses. Ishvaraha, the super soul, the controller. Tvam, your lordship. Eva, indeed. Kalaha, the time factor. Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead. Vishnuhu, all pervading. Avyayaha, imperishable. Ishvaraha, controller. Tvam, your lordship. Mahan, the greatest. Prakrutihi, the cosmic manifestation. Sukshmaha, subtle. Rajaha, sattva, tamo, mayi, consisting of the three modes of nature, passion, goodness, and ignorance. Tvameva, your lordship is indeed. Purushaha, the supreme person. Adhyakshaha, the proprietor. Sarva kshetra, in all living entities. Vikara with, knowing the restless mind. Translation by Krishna Kripamurti, His loving divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, the controller of everything. The body, life, ego, and senses of all living entity are your own self. You are the supreme person Vishnu, the imperishable controller. You are the time factor, the immediate cause, and you are material nature, consisting of the three modes, passion, goodness, and ignorance. You are the original cause of this material manifestation. You are the super soul, and therefore you know everything within the core of the heart of every living entity. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sripad Madhvacharya has quoted from the Vaman Puran as follows. Rupyatvat tu jagat rupam Vishnu shakshat sukhatmakam Nitya purnam samudvishtam Swarupam paramatmanah. So, Sripad Madhvacharya says that Rupyatvat tu jagat rupam. The jagat is the rupa. Jagat is the form. Because Jagat, it is manifest. It has a form. It has a form. It is a form of whom? Vishnu Shakshat Sukhatmaka. Jagat is the form, directly form of Lord Vishnu, who is Sukha Atmaka, who is the nature of bliss himself, bliss itself, bliss personified, Sukhatmaka. Nitya Purnam Samudvishtam. It is eternal and complete. And Swarupa Paramatmanah. And that's why this Jagat is described as Swarupa, the intrinsic form of Swarupam Paramatmana. Jagat is described as Swarupa, form of Paramatma, the super soul, the same personality that resides within our heart as Paramatma. The same personality is Jagat, is the root of Jagat. And that is why Nalkur, and that is what Nalkur and Manigriv had realized in their heart without endeavoring for any kind of knowledge through the study of Vedas. And that is what they've realized. That is what is within them, the realization. But what they are seeing outside of them with their eyes, what they are seeing is Krishna using a wooden mortar coming towards them, crawling on their knees. They were completely out of his way and they were completely bewildered to see that Krishna was dragging that wooden grinding mortar. They can see that Krishna was using wood to cut one wood to cut another wood. He is using the wooden mortar to uproot the wood, the trees. So he is destroying the body of the trees using the body of that mortar. And he is supposed to be muktya. That's a symptom of his godhood, that he is ever liberated, mukta, free, swarata. But that muktya, Nalkur and Manigri were saying that muktya who is going to liberate them, he is badhya, he is bound right now. And while he himself is tied, but he can still free others, because now he realizes, now that he is himself bound, he realizes the pain of being bound, pain of being tied. So and when Krishna comes to them and approaches them, and the personalities, the Nalkur and Manigri demigod body, they come out, Krishna tells them that now go back to your Guru Narad, on whose words I have liberated you. And when Krishna tells them that, he means that it's not that they deserved the liberation. But just because Narad Muni had desired their liberation, now Krishna is bound to liberate them. And Nalkur and Manigri were amazed to see how many different bondages he himself, Krishna himself, is bound by. He is first of all bound by the rope. He is bound by his mother's love. He is bound by Kashyap Muni, the mortar. He is bound by Aditi, the rope. And he is bound by another devotee, Narad Muni's words. So he is Mukunda. He is the one who gives liberation to others. But that Mukund, while liberating them too, he is bound by so many factors that he is unable to give mukti to himself. He is bound by the love of so many devotees. And Nalkur and Manigri, they are the only ones in Vrindavan who know this fact right now, that Krishna is playing this dual role here, that he is skillfully hiding his godhood from everyone else in Vrindavan. And that is because he is hankering for their love. For Krishna, his godhood in Vaikuntha, the love he is receiving from these Brajvasis is so much more than his godhood in Vaikuntha, that he is hiding it from everyone. But at the same time, he is exhibiting his godhood to these two who are less deserving. And he knows that Vrajvasis, they do not need to see my godhood to reach the stage of love. For them, just my innocent childhood is enough. So these are the realizations Nalkur and Manigri are having just by witnessing his Leela. And we pray that we also realize Krishna's supremacy. While we do our sadhana, while we do our deity worship, we realize all these facts, who is the personality Krishna. We pray. And on that note, we pause here our today's session. If anyone has any realizations or questions or additions, please unmute and share. All right. Thank you for joining and inspiring me to glorify Krishna. Grantaraj Srimadbhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a very blissful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna,
Hare
Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.